Hello, first grade readers. Today we are going to wrap up our unit on reading across many different types of genres. And so we've read fiction books, we've read nonfiction books, and we've even read some poetry. And if you've noticed, we kind of have to change our voice and sound a little bit different depending on the type of reading that we're doing. And so today you're going to have the chance to practice that and practice reading books that might be teaching us or talking about the same topic, but one is nonfiction, one is fiction, and one is a poem. And so I'm going to start each of these with you, and I want you to notice how I sound when I read each different type. So here we go. Let's start first with this nonfiction story I found called Baseball. Sports for Sprouts. I think you're going to like it. So notice how I read it. I play baseball. I wear baseball pants and a baseball glove. And I'm stopping and I'm looking at the pictures and I'm noticing this boy over here, he's got his glove and his hat and his pants on. I am on a team. Our team plays offense and defense. Notice how when I'm reading this nonfiction book, I have to stop and think for a second. Offense and defense. I've heard these words before. If I'm not sure, Get Epic is great because you can click on it and you can get the definition, right? But we can also use our strategies to figure out what offense and defense might mean. I think they have to do with the type of positions you play on a team. So when you read this book today, be sure you're stopping and thinking about what the words mean in this book, taking your time to look at the pictures, because that's what we do in nonfiction stories. Now, let's check out this story. It's a fiction story called Flat Stanley at Bat. So in this story, you can listen to it being read to you if you find the words a little challenging, or you can try to read it yourself. Notice as I'm reading this fiction story how I change my voice as I'm reading it and depending on what the characters are saying and what's happening in the book. Stanley Lambchop lived with his mother, his father, and his little brother Arthur. Stanley was 4 feet tall and about a foot wide and a half an inch thick. He had been flat ever since a bulletin board fell on him. That's kind of silly, right? Definitely not true, right? No one's going to get flat from that. Sometimes being flat was a bit tricky. When he turned sideways, Stanley was hard to spot, and a good gust of wind could sweep Stanley off his feet, but he never let his flatness get in his way. I'm trying out for baseball, Stanley told Arthur one day. Notice how I tried to sound like I thought the character Stanley would sound in this story, okay? And if I were reading over here for Coach Bart, I'd say, "Congratulations," said Coach Bart. "You're our new center fielder." That's how I think the coach would sound. I don't know if he really sounds that way, but in my mind he does. And that's what good readers do, right? They try to sound like the characters as they're reading and be on the lookout for things like quotation marks and punctuation. Now, sometimes we read things like poems, and I found this great poem, and it kind of goes along with baseball, but it really is perfect timing for Olympic Day tomorrow. Notice how I'm going to look at the phrases of the way the author wrote this poem and how there are some commas, and so I'm going to make sure I take those pauses, and there are some long breaks here, right? So I should take breaks there as well. Here we go. It's sports day time. Fasten your laces. Toes behind the line. The sun is shining. It's sports day time. Notice how I scooped up those phrases as I read. Can you do it with me? Read it with me. Here we go. It's sports day time. Fasten your laces. Toes behind the line. The sun is shining. It's sports day time. And it sure is sports day time tomorrow for Olympic Day. I can't wait to hear about all the fun that all of our first graders have tomorrow during their virtual Olympic Day. Well, boys and girls, today your job is to go off now and try to do your best reading of these different types of genres. the nonfiction baseball book, the fiction Flat Stanley book, and this poem you have here. Remember to do your best at looking out for punctuation and quotation marks. In your nonfiction book, be sure to stop and pause and think about what some of those words mean. And in this poem, be sure to look out for the phrases and the line breaks. I know you can do it. Happy reading today, boys and girls. Bye-bye.